Previously on All Hail Yog. The tide begins to turn against the party. Agnoment was felled. Desdemonia's deception was pierced. Erick could no longer maintain his monstrous form, and Elizabeth, Dr. Hughbert's beloved and grotesque wife, was shoved from the bridge to fall 100 feet onto the forest floor below. The adventure concludes on the 51st of Hemson, year 895, in the 4th age of Ondûn. This is The Child, Episode 9.
She's shoved off the side.
No!
Yes. So they're like grappling with her, and then she hits the wall, right, near the door, goes over the edge, and just tumbles from sight.
How high up are we?
100 feet. Roll me, you got a 15? You can take 2 of them with. So she will grab them as she goes down and bring these elves with her, but she disappears. You want me to roll the damage, or do you want to roll the damage?
You roll the damage.
Okay.
You did the deed.
Let it be on your head.
No, we'll see what happens. It could, she might.
Oh, dude,
goodness.
you're in denial.
Chunky salsa, man.
It's 100 feet.
Oh, but you see this though? He's mathing pretty hard over there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dice he's rolling.
51.
51?
51 bludgeoning.
She's still up.
Great. She falls.
No way!
Yeah,
Oh my god.
She falls.
She's also relentless.
The branches sort of slow her descent,
Right.
but each one whacks her
And
on
then
the way down.
Yeah,
she
for
hits the
real.
ground, and then just like ichor goes everywhere, but she's still in one piece.
Oh.
Smushed both of the elves underneath her when she hit the ground, right? And you see like lying there. There she comes back to. Yeah. Now
What
you
a woman.
just
What a
done
woman.
pissed her off. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What a woman. That's the Rangers. Agnoment, you were conscious.
How many rangers are there?
There are 2 left.
No, that's less exciting. Okay.
Wait. You brought 3 over the first time and then 2? So there are 3 left, I think.
I want to do Dreadful Shroud.
Okay. Scare them off.
Yeah.
Great. So they make saves, right?
Yep. DC 15 charisma.
Okay. They are not very good at charisma. So fail. A fail. I got a 3, a 2, and a 1. So all 3
Hooray.
of them fail. So describe, what does this look like?
I just woke up. Kind of like how my armor is a little ethereal and around me, like just that same black smoke stuff that happens with my arrows when they're necrotic is just like surrounding me, and I kind of go, is it Lord of the Rings? When
Galadriel.
Yeah, when
Like
she
all
gets like
inverse.
kind of crazy-ish, like that sort of happens. So like I kind of like spring up,
And the wings open, yeah.
and I'm just sort of like floating towards them.
Okay, cool.
And you know, would you guys ever watch Buffy?
All the time.
Okay, so you know when they change into vampire face, like I feel like that's sort of
Your face is
happens.
really
where like
exaggerated.
yeah, like my features, and I have like weird like,
Prosthetics.
bone structures
Yeah,
happening. Yeah, a prosthetic team comes in.
Yeah, great.
Um,
They're frightened of you, right?
they are. They have to move. If I can, I'd like to move towards the door, but I don't know if getting up from.
No, yeah, you can. That takes half your movements. You can get up, and then you can spend the rest of your time to go towards the door. They won't throw themselves to their death, but they will like scramble away from you right on their turn.
Right.
They can't like hurt themselves in their terror of you,
Yeah.
but they will.
Yeah. So I'll walk towards you. Oh my god.
Yeah, so you lift up and start to just float across the room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm also still not great on health, but I wanted to do
right.
something other than just heal myself.
Awesome. Okay, Dr. Hughbert.
Great.
Every time.
Doctor.
I want to call him Dr. Farnsworth because it's super Farnsworth.
No. Oh yeah,
He's
she went over
probably
the
freaking
side.
out a little bit.
He just died.
Oh dude, my dude, I didn't even feel it now.
My man.
It's going to take so many body parts to put it back together. It's just going to be half wood elf.
Oh.
So the Rangers are kind of running.
They're looking like they're gonna scramble away in terror.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably run towards the ledge and see if I can do a perception.
Yeah, okay,
See if I
go
can
for it.
See her over there. Nat 1.
No, she's gone. You may not be able to recover her.
Her brain chip. I need that brain chip.
You need that brain.
The artificial brain. I have installed in her. It's important. It's important. No.
Start babbling about it, tag them all, right? Like,
This isn't right. This isn't good. The mission has changed. The mission has changed.
what do you want to do?
I never agreed to this.
he'll spend the rest of his move to go into the ambassador's room.
Okay, yeah, the ambassador tree.
Because he was in the bastion.
Yep, bastion tree. Great. Yeah. Okay, and then you can see the kind of chaos in there. Erick is getting wailed on, and you are standing over there as well. Great, and then we are on to Desdemonia.
So the king was just like, please help us, right? Cool. I'm going to look at him and be like, I think it's best to keep the baby safe. And I'm going to dash towards the bastion tree.
Okay, cool. So you were heading towards it and you run past each other. Yeah,
can I retroactively make the high elf an agent?
Yes.
Because we still have 2 more.
You
so
can.
Like, I want her to try and help us because she's
the
a high
queen
elf.
will try to stop you from running if you go past. So she's just going to try to put her hand out like that to try to stop you.
Okay.
Do you want to let her, or do you want to try to escape her if she tries to stop you? Because the queen wasn't charmed. Only the king was charmed.
She wasn't. Only the king was charmed.
Yeah. He talks to her, and she decided not to kill you.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know she wants to let the child out of her sight, basically.
So she's gonna. I'm fine with her stopping me.
She'll stop.
I want to try to persuade her. Just be like, this is at the king's will.
Sure. Yeah. Give me a persuasion. That's fine.
21.
She looks at you, and she whispers something in Elven that you can't understand, but it seems very serious. And then she lets you go. She takes her hand off your shoulder.
Awesome.
And you go across into the other room.
Zipping past Doctor.
Great. Yeah, you see her go by. So you want to make the high elf an agent?
Yes.
Okay, great. The high elf is not currently in the room because they're in the servant tree. But
there's no one else they're gonna.
Yeah, right.
Call upon. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we are on to the tree. The tree will move over towards you, buddy. You are still on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wherever the queen just was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it swings at you once, and you can dodge out of the way, and then it will grab you. And instead of dealing damage, it's going to be the roots. So the roots kind of come up and grapple you, and you're held there, a little bit off the ground. You won't take any damage yet, but you're restrained. And then you're kind of spun towards the queen. Oh, no. And she looks at you. She approaches. It's her turn. Sword out. Puts it up against your throat. Who sent you?
You love saying it.
Yeah, that's all you've said the entire time, and now all you've done is talk about it, right? Who sent you?
It is all. It is everything. He who has the most power can protect us all. It's not too late for you, for us all!
Yog, she whispers.
You know.
I do. Great. Elizabeth is on the ground and still alive. What does she do?
She makes a big cry, like a monster scream, a bellow. And then she starts to get up, and she'd like to try to climb up.
She's just wet on the back, right? She hit and then so it's just all ruined. You can see the bones.
The stitching is
the stitching is totally gone.
It's she's gonna try to climb up the tree. The tree.
Okay, great.
Basically.
Give me athletics.
Yeah. She can climb her movement speed.
Oh yeah, she has a climb speed. So she just goes up. You don't have to make an athletics. She can just go up. Yep.
Okay, great. So can she move double move? So 60 feet?
60 feet, yep.
Great.
Cool. That's her turn.
She's up there.
Awesome.
Maybe she'll do another scream at the top of that 60 feet.
Right. She goes up. Cool. I like making those sounds. And then Erick. So you were held.
Yes, I am.
So
I'd like to break out of this.
Okay.
Even though I have a dagger to my
sword to
whatever.
Make an athletics or acrobatics to try to escape from the roots.
Acrobatics.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's 24.
Okay, great. You can get out. She will make an opportunity attack against
Bring
you.
it on, queen.
She had a ready to action. Oh no, 18. Yeah,
that hits.
You're good. It's 5 damage, just a little nick on the throat.
Okay.
You broke out. Now what? That's your action.
I can't hide because she's looking right at me. So I'd like to dash towards Desdemonia, if that's possible. Or disengage towards her.
So what you could do is you could disengage and then just take your movement to get to Desdemonia, and that won't provoke any opportunity attacks. Does that work for you?
Deal.
Cool. So she nicks you, and then you disengage as your action, and then you go running over to Desdemonia. So he comes up behind you. At this point, everybody is on the drawbridge in between the two trees. The whole party converges on the spot, right?
Temple of Doom all of a sudden.
Exactly. And then we are on to the king.
Well, I dashed, so wouldn't I be further?
Oh yeah,
towards
you're in the
bastion
bastion tree.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. The king will move to the doorway and just try to get you with his ropes. Although there's a couple people here. He sees you. So he will just... Who's not going to get hit?
Please, no.
You are not going to get hit.
Hey!
It's the two of you with the ropes.
Me? What did I do?
That's a miss. And it hits. You take 8. There are 3 rangers, and those rangers kind of just panic and start to scramble away from the angel, and they go past the king and the queen, like just panicked and terrified into the ambassador tree. Agnoment, it's your turn.
My favorite is that some of them are having screaming no, but for me, I'm just like, that's right.
That's the name of your god, right?
Correct.
G-N-O, no. It's the god of wisdom.
I'm just gonna lay on hands on myself.
Yeah,
I'm in
go
a
for
bad
it.
way
Give yourself some
currently.
hit points.
And then,
It's your action.
does it look like, are we moving in any particular? I guess I see you with the baby,
Mm-hmm.
and so maybe I reach out in case you want to hand off the football to me.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. She's holding on to it. She's like, I still don't like you, Angel.
Interesting.
Fine.
So you heal yourself. Did you want to move? You're still kind of floating above the bridge, the drawbridge.
I guess I'll move back towards the entrance of the bastion tree, but
yeah.
I don't want to go in it yet because I don't know yet how we're getting down.
Okay,
or
yeah,
who knows.
sounds good. So you're kind of lingering in the doorway. Dr. Hughbert.
Great. I'm gonna roll a perception check to see if he heard those
You did.
cries.
She
Okay,
screamed.
great.
You heard her.
Oh yes, she's alive. She's coming. She'll be here shortly. And then he'll just wait to see what happens, basically.
Okay, the king is right there, right? And he's looking aggressive. He just attacked you.
So, I mean, I'm out of spells here. I'll shoot my hand crossbow at him, and he'll probably take it. 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's gonna heal back up.
He will just heal back up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Why not?
That's 4 damage. Great. So he'll and then I'll see that we have the baby, and I'll just say, let's get out of here. Let's leave. Maybe we can just jump right now. Shall we jump? And that's where he'll leave.
Okay, great. Then we are on to Desdemonia. You have the child. You're in the bastion tree. What's the move?
I want to dash towards the servant tree because that bridge is still down, right?
It is still down.
So I want to dash towards it. I want to do perception to see if I see the high elf.
Okay,
though.
great.
So, like 9.
You do not currently. There's just kind of chaos in that chamber.
Then I'm really gonna dash over there and just scream really loudly. The king and queen have lost their mind.
Okay, give me a deception with disadvantage. It's a pretty ridiculous claim at this point.
16 with disadvantage.
Okay, a lot of the servants are just kind of panicking. They don't really seem to know what's going on. The high elf will sort of like, my things, she says to some of her guards, and then comes over to you. Are you ready to leave?
Absolutely.
Get your allies. Let's go now. Great.
Nice.
Desdemonia, tree will kind of come to the edge of the ambassador tree, but it can't get through the door. So it just kind of like blocks that way. You can't go back into the nursery at this point. Great. The ambassador sort of takes your hand and then kind of starts to chant something arcane. Great. Queen. There's still 2 people out here. There's you and the 3 of you actually are all still enemies to her. So the bow comes out, and it's going to be a shot on each one of you. So against Erick is a hit, against Agnoment is a miss, and against Hughbert is a 19 is a hit.
That's a hit.
So the 2 of you, you'll both take 10 piercing. She fires an arrow at both of you. So that's the queen. She fires both of those off, and then Elizabeth. She's still climbing up the tree. She is 40 feet below you.
Oh, she's gonna keep climbing.
Okay,
yeah. So she's got, she'll double move probably. Yeah.
Cool. So this leaking flesh bag pulls itself back up onto the bridge, right? Just disgusting. Like on the front, she looks kind of the same, but if she turns, it's just ruin and gore all down her backside, right? You can see organs hanging by like threads. It's horrendous, but still alive somehow.
Still has the will.
Still has the will.
I'm gonna look to Agnoment, and I don't have any more potions. I don't have any more materials to create more. Can you heal her? Can you, please? She's not looking good.
I actually think I can anymore.
That's
I think I used all my hands
great.
on myself.
You might have. I think you have plenty of spells left though. If you have cure wounds or anything. I don't know if you create it.
No, I do have one actually.
Okay, great. Anyway, so that is Elizabeth. Erick.
So I'd like to dash.
No, I don't.
Yeah, great.
Towards Desdemonia.
Cool. Yeah, you don't have to roll. You can just
cool.
run out of the
Mainly just
bastion
the
tree,
one.
and then you see her over there by the ambassador.
There you are. And then cutting action, can I do it again?
So yeah, you can get over to her. Cool. Yeah, he comes hustling over, and you're sort of holding hands with this elf.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you do?
I'm here. I made it. I'm here.
Do you like put your hand on my shoulder or anything? Because I'm holding hands with the elf and I'm like holding the baby.
No, I
hand.
wouldn't dare touch you. I in so much reverence. No way.
So the king will lash out with 2 tendrils. There's the angel and the monster. It doesn't really know that the angel is a threat necessarily. It doesn't really understand what's happening with the angel. So it'll be at you and the monster. Cool. So against, oh, that's a nat 1 against Hughbert. I got so many nat 1s, you guys. That's a hit on the monster though. She'll take 14.
14, she drops.
Cool. Yeah, like wraps around her throat just as she comes up, and he squeezes with the vine.
But it has relentless, so it's reduced to 1. I don't know how that works.
So she goes to her knees, and like it almost like the neck kind of breaks to the side like that, and then you see that she gets up again, as with 1 hit point. So she has this ability where she drops to 0, she can come back with 1. Yeah. So the neck is snapped, and it's like twisted to the side. Horrendous. But it's still conscious. Great, that's the king. And then there are no more rangers. They ran screaming in terror. Great, Agnoment, it's your turn.
I still haven't seen any of the cool stuff that you've done.
Yeah, right? You've done nothing as far as
Yeah, the only thing that I would have had was Revivify, but they would have needed to have died and then come back with 1. Okay. So,
they might.
Yeah. So I guess kind of apologize.
Don't worry about it.
Sort of.
I don't think I'll say anything. I think I'll just. Because I appreciate it. And like, you brought me back to life.
For the listeners, Agnoment touched the doctor on the shoulder.
Like, I'm sorry. I can't do anything. But
gotcha.
But I got you.
Would have if I needed
Could
it.
have. What's the plan?
So is Elizabeth on the bridge and still being strangled?
Yeah. Well, it was just like that was the flavor of it. So she escaped. Okay. After she went down, he kind of pulled the whip back, thinking like, it's dead, and then it got up another time. Yeah.
Are we all clustered together? Like,
he ran by. So right now on the drawbridge, it's you and the doctor and the monster, and then the king and the queen are on the other side, like fighting you guys.
Okay. Who's furthest? Who's like closest to the king and the queen? Probably
the monster.
Her. Okay. Okay. Maybe I just like fly in front of her and like put my arm out in like a stopping motion to try and like back her up, but then be in between her and the king.
Sure.
I guess.
So you want to put yourself between her and the king? Okay.
Yeah, and just sort of like try and.
Encourage us to go in the room.
Basically. Gotcha. Okay, cool. The doctor, it's your turn.
I'll kind of see what's going on over here, and I'll join you guys.
Okay.
In the server.
And I'll encourage Elizabeth to come with.
Okay.
God.
The tree can't do anything. The ambassador's still waiting. The queen has an action before Elizabeth does. The queen will take out her sword. She keeps like drawing and sheathing things all the time.
She's got so many weapons.
And she will come over and she will make 3 attacks. So 1 against. Are you putting yourself between those 2?
Yeah, with my wings out, does that give disadvantage?
It does not give disadvantage. Still swing. Oh, that's a miss. That's a hit, and just another hit. So you'll take 8.
Okay.
So she just slashes you twice with her sword.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Elizabeth.
I take it.
Great.
Like a champ.
Elizabeth's gonna get up and saunter over to where everyone else is in the room.
Okay, great.
And put her hand on one of them, I guess.
Yeah, on Erick or Desdemonia?
On Erick, I guess.
No. Erick.
This bloody, horrible hand
and
gets you on your shoulder.
Well, I guess I probably put my hand on you because I was next.
Yeah.
And then
she comes in and
touches me. That makes sense.
Great.
Yeah.
Basically, at this point, we're just waiting on Agnoment to get there.
Yeah.
You guys are just gonna hold action until. Do you want to fly to the rest of the group?
I do.
Uh-oh.
I also want to just cast darkness on the queen.
Okay, sure. So that would be your action, right?
Yeah.
So she's plunged into darkness. You are also probably in that globe of darkness as well, because it's not a 5 foot, it's like a 15 foot, I think.
15 foot.
15 foot. So you're in it as well, but you have a general sense of where you need to go. If you try to move, she will still make an opportunity attack, which is a disadvantage.
That's fine.
Okay.
I will try and move forward and just get into the
She will
room.
swing. No, a 16 won't hit you. So clangs off your armor, and you come flying out of the darkness, swoop around the corner, and you see this angel flying over the drawbridge, wings out, approaching you, and lands. You guys are all standing in a circle with the elven mage holding out to your hand. Are we ready to depart?
Absolutely.
And there's as you see that she starts to cast some spell, you guys are all you feel your molecules basically separate from themselves, and then the piece of drawbridge is blank. When you sort of come to, all your molecules realign, and you guys are standing on a windswept, grassy hillside. You can look out, you see the long expanse of forest, and you can look to one side and see the huge fissure in the side of the mountain. You recognize this as the place you came into the Green Guard Mountains, and that being the portal back towards Yoggoth. The ambassador kind of drops you all there. looks back and forth. That did not go according to plan.
I have the child.
Good. Now I have to get back and repair things with my nation. They're going to be very concerned about how this went, and I can't have my cover revealed. Say nothing of what happened to anyone. Understand?
Absolutely. I'm definitely in my demon form now, and I give her like a kiss on the hand.
Cool.
Thank you for your help.
She sort of like gives you a little flourish, right?
God.
And then she disappears. Another spell. Great, you guys are standing there on the brink of the fissure. What do you want to do?
Is the baby still crying?
Yes.
I'm loving it.
You're drinking it in.
Just like, yeah,
oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Crying.
Yeah. But I'm like teasing her, just like, yeah, as I walk towards the fissure, yeah.
Okay, great.
Erick falls to his knees and throws up.
Is it like black, horrible,
yeah.
like slime?
Yeah.
And just crying through it too.
Wretched, pathetic creature. Elizabeth, like there's like a piece of her that just kind of like falls off and hits the ground. She's still standing, right? She doesn't like feel pain.
I
She's
love the idea that like her molecules realigned in a different way because it couldn't figure it out. It's like, I don't know. Here's what we tried.
Yeah, right. She's got an arm coming in her chest. Yeah.
We didn't know.
I'm not sure how it
the
fits
best
together.
we could in the in
The teleport spell, yeah. Great. Is there anything else you guys want to do? You want to hop in that fissure?
Can I do any quick repairs to her before we go through
You could stop and take an hour rest if you want, but you're right there on the edge of the forest.
There's no time for that.
Yeah.
God, I want to get that baby away from you, but I guess
no,
there's nothing I
I'm
can do
teasing
about
that
it.
screaming
He'll
child.
console her with words, basically.
Okay, yeah, great. Whispering sweet nothings.
Yeah.
Great.
It's going to be okay. I'll fix all of this. Don't you worry.
Great. So you guys step towards the fissure.
Mm-hmm.
And again, one by one, you're taken in your sort of different fashions.
I think I do like a little cross-legged sit, and the hands just like engulf
you. Yeah. The child, like you get kind of like swallow a piece of it. The child starts to just scream and panic as the like horrible ichor covers its face.
Erick crawls, weeping, towards the fissure, and then just head first sort of falls in, and then you see his legs in the air, sort of kicking, and then eventually just sort of go limp. And then just gets swallowed into the fissure.
Yeah, you're just swallowed up. Your
So now
feet
you can still
disappear.
hear whimpering, just like
It echoes louder.
You see, Elizabeth will just kind of sit next to the fissure, and everything will start to, the goo will start to overcome her, and the doctor just kind of crouches up and just sits in her arms as they both get called
lean back into it. Yeah. Right, Agnoment.
I feel like I just like wings out, still approach it, and it creates kind of like a
bubble,
hole in
right.
it, and it sort of just
Like carries you down. Great. So you are then all basically pulled one by one out of that well in the center of. You go through the same experience, right? Where you feel like you're being molested by all these horrible hands and tentacles and things. You're pulled to the core of the earth, but you are pulled back out in that same chamber, the chamber at the top of the spire of Yog. You see the symbol, you see the vessel, and the vessel is still kind of limp when you one by one come out. Desdemonia comes first, and it's again very regal. It almost like makes a staircase for you to step down holding the child. Erick has vomited forth, right?
But I regain my composure out of pure fear as I
sure.
resume my initial stance.
Right.
Like
prostrate.
with fealty. Right?
Gotcha. You're there's sort of like a wave that kind of like knocks the two of you guys out as you come out that way.
2 bowling balls.
Yeah.
Come out,
and she's just like an arm falls off in the process, right? And Agnoment is just lifted out in her in their bubble.
Out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 1 foot forward.
What do you do?
I saunter towards the vessel. I'm like kind of scratching the child's clothing just to like make little riffs in it. 'Cause I'm like, I can't harm the child, but
You can harm everything but the child. Yeah. No, you haven't done it, have you? You haven't done what it wanted? No.
Oh, yes, we did.
You fools! You're giving it all the tools it needs. You have no idea what's coming.
Yes, Mr. Vessel.
No. Please, doctor.
Silence yourself, Vessel.
What
you
can
have
I
no
do
say
for you?
here.
Can I help you this time?
Free me.
I'll free you.
Doctor, free me.
Free you. Maybe this time I will free you.
Please. No, you could.
I like you like this. Oh, here we go.
Yog takes over the vessel.
Yog.
Were you successful?
Here you are, Lord.
Like holds out its hand. The child screaming, screaming. And the minute the Yog takes it, it stops. It just stares up at Yog. And it looks down. It looks up and grins at the camera. We get one shot of the four of you all standing there, right, like in your various states.
Yog before all.
All hail Yog.
And so concludes The Child, the first arc of All Hail Yog. Our villains, plus some new voices, shall return in future adventures. We'll be taking a short break, but we'll be back in the new year. Before we go, I wanted to take a moment and thank a few people who have made this first arc possible. Thank you to Tim Alvarez, our audio engineer, without whom we would have sounded very crappy indeed. Impro Theater, for letting us record our silly podcast in your lovely space. To our players, Kate, Heather, Cody, and Paul, for giving selflessly of your time and your creativity. To our partner, Hit Dice, for partnering with our little podcast and spreading the signal. To our patrons, Pavel Kovalenko, Adam Pearson, Kailania, Gamma Liz, Enkimi Sumeri, David McDermott, Ronald E. Smith, The Sandman King, Ed Robinson, Daniel Chan, Keith Sandler, Jessica Odegaard, Brooke Siegel, Exploding Dice, Mary Zantop, John Mack, Lex Mandrake, Clay Vernon, Joe Nemmer, Sildari, Olaf Heinjen, Philip Villarreal, James C., Erica, Nair Nunez, Chris Stosky, and Death by Mage for your boundless support. I wanted to call out 3 patrons in particular. First, to Vaughn Romero, who actually wrote the very song that you're currently listening to. I wanted to call out Shadowner, whose massive contribution to the podcast is coming, I promise. And to Neve McMaster, whose character portraits for the podcast are probably my favorite thing about the campaign. To Hallie, for rescuing the show several times when I couldn't. Lastly, we wanted to thank everyone who's rated and reviewed and retweeted and most importantly, listened. Thank you. All Hail Yog is an Experience Points production. It was directed and dungeon mastered by Timothy J. Meyer. Agnoment is played by Kate Enge at I Don Quixote on Twitter. Desdemonia is played by Heather Lore at Land of Lore on Instagram. Dr. Hughbert is played by Cody Bushee at Cody Bushee on Twitter. Erick Idylvain is played by Paul Vonasek at Paul Vonasek on Twitter. You can find the show on Twitter at XP Web Series. Our audio engineer was Tim Alvarez. The game was played using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set, as owned by Wizards of the Coast. The main titles are A Night on Bald Mountain by Modest Mussorgsky, performed by the Skidmore College Orchestra. Additional music includes the Dante Symphony by Franz Liszt, performed by the Berlin Philharmonic, Dies Irae by Aurora Surgit and Alessia Randon, Symphony No. 5 in D minor by Dmitri Shostakovich, performed by the DuPage Symphony Orchestra, String Quartet No. 8 by Dmitri Shostakovich, performed by the Lawrence Street String Quartet, the Scythian Suite by Sergei Prokofiev, performed by the Ukrainian State Symphony Orchestra, Dream of a Witch's Sabbath by Herman Berlioz, performed by the Concertgebouw Orchestra. Thanks for listening, and Yog before all.